All right, I just used this Woodturner's Wonders CBN wheel to hone my standard bench chisel, and I really love the way it worked. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to click through and check that out. I like this so much, I want to try something that I was always told not to do, and I've never done. That's what I'm going to do is I'm going to try sharpening my Japanese dovetailing chisel with the CBN wheel. Now, the normal process for sharpening a Japanese chisel is a process called taming the edge. And imagine that this is a Waterstone. That means that you're working the back of the chisel and then the bevel back and forth until you get a razor sharp edge. And it's really easy to do because of the fact that with these Japanese chisels there's a layer of hard steel brazed onto a layer of slightly softer steel. It makes it a lot easier to sharpen. It makes the sharpening process go very quickly, so you can always maintain a nice sharp edge. But it's also one of the reasons why you're not supposed to put a hollow grind on the front of your Japanese chisel. It's supposed to be flat. The reason being that because you have hard steel brazed onto soft steel, the temperature at which it turns blue and you lose your temper is much lower, and it's very, very easy to turn one of these chisels blue. But with my Woodturner's Wonders CBN wheel, one of the nice features of it is that it runs really cool. In my last video I showed how normally I'd have a cup of water right next to my traditional wheel, and I keep dipping into the water to keep it cool. But I blew through very quickly sharpened this traditional bench chisel and it didn't even heat up at all. So this is an experiment here. I could ruin this chisel. My wife might be very, very mad at me, but she's not here right now, so let's try it. All right, so I like to put a little marker on the front to see so I know where I'm hitting. And even though this is a relatively narrow chisel, I'm going to give myself a square line on the back so I know if I'm drifting. Okay. And that drifting, because this is a Japanese dovetailing chisel, which is essentially a mortising style chisel, it comes to a point here which makes it fit in between the pin sockets much more easily. But I'm going to have to make sure I don't rock on that as I try this experiment. So here goes nothing. Like I'm hitting it, I'm hitting right in the middle. And it might take a little while to get to that cutting edge, because this has never been hollow ground before. Again, it's only been flat ground. Wow, it's cutting real nice. I like how wide the wheel is. It's really nice. Once you find that right position, you just kind of keep riding. And not, like the fewer times I have to reset myself and come back all the way to here, the better. It's just much more ergonomic. The width of the wheel, though, you will notice in the manufacturer thing, they tell you to take the guard off, just because it's too large for that, and that's why I have these safety glasses on. So, well worth the extra precaution to. It just feels easier. It's just, and I'm getting close to the cutting edge, and I haven't dipped this in water once, and look at that edge. There's nothing happening there. Then I'll tell you, it's cool to the touch. This were a rather, excuse me, if this were a regular wheel, I would have blued this up pretty bad by now. Yep, now I'm approaching the cutting edge. It's just funny to be grinding and not feel the tool get even remotely warm. I mean, like I said, usually I have a little cup of water and, I dip the chisel in and it's steaming, This is pretty impressive. Yeah, I'm getting close to the cutting edge now. I rocked a little bit there. If you see that little, I'll have to be a little more careful. Try to keep even pressure on that point. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but I haven't even taken it to the stone yet, and it's cutting my thumbprint away. Very slight wire edge in the back. That'll come right off in the stone. All right, this CBN wheel from Woodturner's Wonders. You woodturners have been keeping this a secret to yourselves for way too long. I mean, obviously it works great on your wood turning tools, but who would have thought that it could grind the Japanese chisel without blowing it? I mean, that goes against all previously conceived notions about sharpening. I'm probably going to figure out some other stuff to do with this, so subscribe, and I'll leave a link below for the where you can get yourself one of these wheels.